You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Dean Johnson.
The AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California. Presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AFTERBUZZ TV's Grimm After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Grimm After Show.
See, I feel like I need to be hunting during this theme song.
With a crossbow.
Welcome back, guys. It's Grimm Sundays here at AFTERBUZZ. I know normally it's Grimm Fridays, but we're on a slight delay. We're talking Grimm episode 318, The Laws of Sacrifice.
Oh, yeah.
And there was a lot to sacrifice, and a lot was sacrificed.
It was a big sacrifice.
In this episode.
Or a little one.
I'm your host, Zach Wilson. Joining me on today's panel, I've got Dillon Chance here.
Hello, everyone.
Yell Teagle is in San Francisco, I think.
Is that where
She's out of town.
I just knew she was coming.
But she may join us via a magical device later today. Wow. It might be a spirit ball. It might be a telephone.
I hope it's the spirit ball.
I leave it to your imagination. Let's jump right in and open up with the quote. The queen was terrified and offered the little men and all the riches of the kingdom if only he would leave the newborn child alone.
Did you know what it was as soon as you...
I kind of figured, but I wasn't 100% sure. It's from the Brothers Grimm telling of Rumplestiltskin.
Yeah.
I figured it was from... I was like, that sounds like Rumplestiltskin, but I wasn't sure.
Uh-huh.
It's a good... I mean, it's an appropriate story. It's about a baby. For anyone who isn't familiar with Rumplestiltskin, about a little troll creature guy who named Rumplestiltskin who says he's going to take this baby from a woman years down the line. Different versions of it have different reasons behind it. It's stolen vegetables or any number of things. I think that might have been the Rocky and Bullwinkle version.
Stolen vegetables.
But he comes back later to take the baby and offers her a deal because he feels bad for the mom that he was not just going to take their firstborn. He will, if she can guess his name within 3 days, he will let her be.
Right.
And at the end of the 3 days, she manages to, through the help of a messenger who overheard a singing little man troll.
Well, Nick doesn't play those games.
No, Nick does not mess around. And we open this episode up on all of the insanity that we left off with this week. Because as we talked about last week, this is a much more serialized Grimm that we're getting.
Yes.
The Vestin of the Week is not... we're not dealing with Vestin of the Week anymore.
I think they're just trying to wrap up all the loose ends and tie everything together.
Well, they've built up, like, as these episodes have gone, they built up this crazy storyline,
right.
And now it's hitting a head where, like, everything's come together and it has to be dealt with.
Exactly. And it was dealt with all in this last episode and this episode, and I think now we might start to move back to the Vestin of the Week a little bit here and there,
maybe
with that stuff in the background.
I mean, we sort of dealt with some of the big issues here, so Nick is going to be freed up to help the police department,
right,
and do his job.
Exactly.
Nick,
get back to your work, Nick.
But I liked that this episode, and it wasn't just like a two-parter, like it was like, this is a collected story that just takes longer than an hour. No, this is an ongoing story, and we just took these 2 episodes to really just get into the meat of it, instead of just doing it a little bit. Yeah. And I've loved it. I've loved the ride. And we get Renard and we open up on Renard and Adalind in Renard's apartment, and he's just mesmerized by this baby.
Oh, he went straight into protective father mode.
Oh yeah,
nice.
I mean, I'm assuming it's his kid.
Well,
I know that's still in question,
and he's
a little bit.
He fully believes. I wonder why he doesn't question or like get a DNA test.
He does a little bit. He because he makes us a crack about how she slept with his brother.
Yeah,
and she makes a crack about how he slept with her mother. And it's just a
weird,
wildly messed up relationship. But as Renard says, they I guess they're just meant to be together. And they're kind of questioning. They like we do. Like, are we a thing now?
Yeah.
And they are. They're effectively together. The part of that scene that really, because she's obviously in danger.
Yeah.
And Renard has to know this.
Right.
Like the fact that she's there, he instantly assumes that Viktor now knows where she is.
Right.
Which is safe to assume, and why she should never have gone to Portland.
No.
As soon as she saw the Oregon license plate, before she found out who Kelly was, she should have been like, if we're hiding, this is a bad idea.
We need to get in this truck and drive somewhere else.
Or not Oregon. Or maybe even in Oregon. Stay in the mountains somewhere.
Way up, away from the town.
At Viktor's cousin, not at Viktor's cousin's place.
Right.
That's where he gets the first place he's gonna look.
Yeah. And your hometown, and you know, the whole city is just a bad choice.
Yeah.
She should have just gotten the car and drove up to Washington, maybe to Canada, you know, just kept going.
But my favorite part of that whole thing was that he's like, because he knows she's at risk being there. He's like, stay away from the windows. His whole apartment is windows.
Yeah, it's actually
basically
really nice
just don't come in this room. Just stay in the bedroom
or the bathroom.
Yeah,
yeah.
I can't even make like a kitchen joke because the kitchen was fully exposed too. So basically, just sit in the corner,
yes.
Adalind. And then we also see Viktor at the same time. Viktor over in Austria is plotting. He knows where she is. Like he figured it out.
Yeah.
Really fast.
Yeah, they got people everywhere. The guy said like, "We know the plane landed in Oregon."
Yeah,
and he's like, "Oh."
They find the plane, and then he has a guy.
Yep.
Which you assume he does, but you don't expect it to be somebody in the FBI.
Yeah, that's wild.
Pretty far up, and that implies that Viktor has a much bigger reach. I mean, I guess he's a royal of something.
Yeah.
I don't know. What is he? They haven't really gone into that. Like, what exactly is he the prince of?
Well,
is it?
They said his name, remember? When he came into the police station, they said his name.
That was his name. Did he have an of this?
It did. It said Prince so-and-so Royal whatever of blank. I didn't write it down. I need to
yell if you're listening, because I know you're calling in later.
Please.
Call in with that name. Look it up. You have time.
Go.
I'm now delegating tasks out
to someone that's not here.
Yeah. Anyway, beyond that, like he's leaving for Portland, and then he tasks this FBI guy to go out and to find them. He just sends it like, we're sending you 2 pictures. Mm-hmm. Take care of these people, get the baby unharmed, and he like, stop whatever you're doing,
right? Because
we need this now. Yeah. And so he sets off, and the guy wastes no time. This is the first. I thought he was a Verrat at first.
I did too. I thought he was one of them, but I guess...
he's the same type of Vessin, some word I cannot pronounce, but he's not a Verrat. And he's the first one of that species that is not a Verrat. It's a very... It's interesting because we've only met them as foot soldiers, essentially. Right. This guy sort of broke off and went and became an FBI agent, and he climbed the ladder that way. But he still is, as he says later in the episode, loyal to the crown.
Maybe that whole, like, race of Vessin are
in a lot of cases, but he's not, at least as far as we know, Verrat.
Right.
Although it would stand to reason that he would be, since he's working with them.
Maybe he's just, like, you know, the Verrat that
he could be higher up.
Out.
Like, yeah, he could just be the senior member.
True.
I'm sure
or his, like, father was, so he was inducted into it.
But so he goes to the apartment, like he knows exactly where to go. He's just
he's FBI agent.
Yeah, he has resources.
Right.
And he
and he knew the captain.
Yeah.
He's like, that's the captain, Jean Renard.
I mean, he's familiar enough. If he's in the Verrat, and they know, it's not like he's secretly a royal. They know who he is.
Right.
But so he goes up, but Nick's already there.
And Nick's mom.
Yeah, but that was an intense scene. What did you think of the exchange between Nick and Renard? Like, Renard's out there, he's got a gun. very obviously behind his back. Like, you might as well just hold it out.
Yeah, or well, you're not, hiding it from Nick. Nick knows it's got a gun. I like Nick's line. We're gonna do this out here, like in the hallway. Come on, let's go inside.
Yeah, somebody's gonna get hurt. You don't know when somebody's gonna pop out of their apartment. Nick's like, I've done this in hallways before, which he has a number of times, and it's like it never ends well.
It doesn't.
It's like just dick measuring contest. It's
Yeah.
like, I've got a gun too. And Renard just tucks it in the back of his pants.
Yeah.
But Nick makes a good point. Like, he comes in and he's just like, I am not here to hurt you. I do have a personal vendetta. He's like not letting that go. It's like, you wronged me, but this is bigger than you or me.
Right.
Nick is he's reasonable that way.
This is the scene where I think my favorite line of this episode was when Adalind said, "Oh, it's good to be back," and she vogues and she's like, "Ah, weird hex and beast," and he's like, "Oh, you find that attractive? Really?" Ugh.
Yeah, Nick. I mean, Nick is because.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess he's a Zauberbeast. They're the same. They're not
That's
related.
true.
I almost said they're related. They're not.
No.
But so they see.
Yeah, but you gotta see it.
Yeah, I guess it's like when two animals, you're like, I can't tell them apart, and it's like they see something attractive
They like something.
in that what appears to be rotting flesh and dying death hair, and
Ugh.
Whereas I see like when Rosalie vogues, and I'm like, ooh,
Oh, she's
sexy.
cute.
And Adalind vogues, and I'm like, oh.
Ah, run.
I mean, it's a very different reaction, which informs much the way that any Vessin does. Like, the way people react to seeing you in your Vogue state informs who you are. Adalind is a very closed off, very attack if somebody gets too close type of person. Rosalie is very much like warm, friendly. Like, she wants people to let people in because people see her as Fuchsbau, and they're like, oh, I want to get to know this cute little Fuchsbau. People will see the Hexenbeast and they run. They run, and then they get pulled back with force powers.
Same with Monroe. He has to live a completely different life to try and prove that he's not this scary beast man.
Exactly. And we get a little bit more of Kelly as she comes up the stairs, and because they see the Virat, like the FBI agent leaves and he brings up the Virat, and they just take them out with just like, we rarely get to see two Grimms working together.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And it's awesome.
Yeah.
It's so awesome. Because Nick goes up the front and just takes one out, and then the other one retreats to the stairwell, but Kelly is just there. She's like, come on, bam, and like knocks them out, and then they come in. And I guess Renard had never met Kelly either.
Yeah, he hadn't met her yet.
Because they're like, no, she's with us. She's with us. And they both drop their weapons.
I like their exchange. I think it was close after that, or maybe it was a little later, but it might have been at Rosalie's house. But they were like, you tried to kill my sister. She was like, well, she was a Grimm with a key.
Yep. But they do, I mean, that's the next place they go, because they resolve, they know that Viktor's onto them. They should. Adalind can't stay there.
So where's the only safe place, obviously?
And I actually. Well, what did you think they were gonna do in that moment? Because I was not what I was thinking.
I just knew it. No, I for some reason I was like, they're gonna bring him to Rosalie's house. And
I guess it just didn't occur to me. It was so. As soon as their phone rang, I was like, oh, of course, the only other characters that we've got, unless they call it Bud.
I like that it's like the middle of the night. Monroe and Rosalie are like, having some couple sexy time and kissing, and then the phone rings. He's like, damn it, Nick. Why are you always calling in the bad times?
Rosalie's just like, what do you want, Nick?
Yeah, hey, Nick.
But they provide a great, having them in the room.
Yeah.
They provide a great outside perspective to this insanity, because they do when they eventually bring the baby.
Oh, that was
over.
a funny part too. The phone call. Because he puts them on speaker, and while Nick's trying to explain it, they are like, and she's what? With who? You're a captain?
Well, because
kind of ridiculous, but it was funny.
Yeah, we've been following this all along.
Right.
We've seen the puzzle pieces slowly but just anytime I've tried to explain Grimm to anyone, as a show, 3 seasons deep, you're like, oh, but except that this person was doing it, and then it's very confusing and elaborate. It all makes sense, but trying to explain it to people who haven't experienced it, very, very confusing.
Yeah.
I think they literally they're like, seriously?
Yeah. I liked it though because they did tie everything together and explain it. So maybe someone who's new and missed some things, it's all out there now.
Exactly.
But when they did it, it was funny. I liked how they did it. And I think they even embraced the like corniness of
That's what they're there to do. That's what's great about Monroe right now is that both of them are there to help lighten the mood a little bit when it gets really serious, to give that audience perspective on things, to give an outside viewpoint when everybody shows up and everyone's very high strung.
Yeah.
Because when they show up, that's when a lot of stuff starts to come out.
Right.
And I mean, I don't know what you thought, but like the secrets that just poured out when they got into there was like suddenly everyone's on the same page, and it is dark.
Yeah.
He killed. He was attempted to kill your sister. She killed your mom. You slept with his best friend, who is his employee, who is his partner, and he tried to kill you over this thing that you were trying to protect, but now they're working together. See, not even I can follow what I'm talking about anymore. Right. Although I think if you listen to what I just said, it works. And it did.
Sense. I was listening.
You know what else makes sense? iTunes.
Oh, wow. Nice segue.
Folks at home. Yeah, it wasn't bad. I've had better. Folks at home, thank you so much for listening. It brightens my days to think about like the fact that people are listening to us babble about Grimm and like all this stuff. And I know we love doing this, and I hope that you love listening to us. And I think you're wondering back there, how can you help? How can you help? I mean, here at AfterBuzz, we do about 70 different shows a week. That is a ton, a truckload of free content.
That's a lot of TV.
It would be, I guess it's digital, so it's not really physical.
Well, I mean, it's a lot of TV that we have to watch so that we can talk about it for you.
But that's a lot of hours of free content, and so in exchange for that, we ask for a little bit of help from you guys, so that we can keep the lights on over here, and so that we can really know how to craft the show to make it the best it can be for you. Here's what you can do: go on to iTunes, go on to YouTube, wherever it is that you watch. Give us a rating, give us an upvote, share it with your friends, share it on your Twitter, tell people about it, tell people how much you like it. Maybe you want to tweet at some of the cast and crew. Let them know,
they're
like,
all
hey,
there.
we love AfterBuzz. We'd love to see you on AfterBuzz. Little things like that. Just letting us know what you want to see and that you enjoy it. It's a lot of fun for us. It's a lot of fun. It brightens our day, as I said before. And so we also, she's not here, but let's remind people of her challenge.
Oh, yeah. Tell her about
that. San Diego Comic-Con is coming up in a few months. I just booked my hotel, so I'll be down there. And Yell will be down there, and Yell has promised that if we can get to 100 reviews on iTunes, she will bum rush the crew, or the cast rather. She will bum rush the cast to get an interview. And so I want to give a shout out to Mark Ascending, who knew about the challenge and wants to help us out.
Oh, good.
He says no shout out needed, but Mark, I'm shouting you out anyway.
Take that.
He wants the 100 review payoff, and he also loves the aspect of taking history and making it Vesson related. My favorite part. He says some of my favorite parts are you guys trying to pronounce things.
Well, that's fine.
Hey, I've mastered Kershite-Schlischkennen.
You did? I still can't say that.
I nailed that one. I can't pronounce half of the other things.
I'll say Vesson and Vogue.
Because we here at AfterBuzz are Kershite-Schlischkennen.
Yes.
Because we are, at least, I mean, I'm assuming. I'm not a Grimm or a Vesson or a Royal. I don't know about Dillon or Yell or Roya back in the booth there. She could be a dangerous, dangerous Vesson, and we don't know.
I haven't seen her Vogue yet. But wait. Shh, never mind. Go ahead.
But we get, and as we're going through, but like back to the episode, we get more of just all these different people's reactions to each other, because Renard and Kelly have a deep connection, even though they've never met before. Not anything direct, but they both work for the Resistance. They're both part of the Resistance, and that alone is a major bonding point where he asks her, like, because she swears she's like, I'm here to do what I can to protect this baby. And he's like, would you die for the baby?
Yeah, and I thought that was a pretty big question because I was like, I thought maybe they were trying to foreshadow that something crazy was gonna happen. And I read someone's review of the episode earlier too, and they thought the same thing. Like, is she going to die in this episode because of this baby? I thought that might happen.
I kind of, well, actually, there's a moment where I thought that it would make this episode very intense.
Yeah,
for Nick especially. I like where it ended, but we'll get there.
Yeah.
But he's sometimes, and she says at one point, sometimes you have to sacrifice what we love most. Although that's way later in the episode. I just had that quote written down the same place. It's a great quote. But that's what it all builds to. And as they're going through, and eventually, Viktor shows up.
Yeah.
He shows up in Portland. He just like strides in off his private jet with his little
this is where he walked into the captain's office.
Yeah.
And that's when they said his long name. I mean, it was long, so there's no way I could remember that name.
Wu comes in, and he's like, Captain, we got a guy here. Prince Viktor of something. Again, Yell, if you're listening, we expect you to know it when you call in.
Please.
Or Roy is going to hang up on you.
And then it's funny because he says that like jokingly, like, this guy's obviously crazy. And then the captain goes, let him in. And I'm like, oh. As Wu, I would have been like, oh, wait, okay, cool. But he's just like, all right, cool.
Yeah. And like they go in there, like, at this point, I think they're aware that they have a plan. I mean, they've gotten the FBI agent. They busted him, captured him, and they're like, they're like, get this too.
Right, because Nick and Hank see him going in, the prince, and then as soon as they see that, they're like, oh, you think it's gonna work? So yeah, they obviously have a plan going, right?
I mean, the instant that they handed over that note to the guy, I was like, they have some elaborately thought out plan. The question is like, who's gonna be ahead of who?
Yeah.
In this.
I'm surprised how far ahead they planned. Like, that was an elaborate plan to just let it all fall into place like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little Ocean's 11 type of thing where like you think that they failed, but then like as they slowly go through like all the craziness, Viktor comes in. Viktor just like walks in, like that's just walking into the heart of your enemy's home without any, and like I don't think he's ever looked as princely.
Yeah,
as he did in that scene.
He's got his suit and his nice coat on.
Well, he's got that really nice coat. His hair's like very nicely brushed. His skin looks like perfect. Like he looked like he was very clean, as opposed to back in. Man, not that he wasn't cleaned up, but this for some reason for me just like rang of this man takes nothing, takes no expletive deleted from anyone.
Yeah.
He
lives in an old castle in Vienna too. Maybe they don't have like nice showers. He's just a lot cleaner in this new.
You know, I think that they've probably figured out plumbing.
But it's an old castle.
I know it's an old castle and it's in Europe, but they've got centralized plumbing and water heat. But as soon as he gets there, the captain like knows what's up, and they're basically who's gonna buckle first is what's going on.
Right.
Eventually, this captain calls Nick. They're like, make the arrest. Who did you think they were going to arrest at that moment?
I thought they were going to arrest him. I thought, because remember, Hank was taking pictures at the airport of them like making exchange, and they already had the FBI agent tied to the bank accounts of those other guys.
Yeah.
So I thought they were just going to do some kind of sting, arrest them all, and then figure out what to do from there. Like, I thought that was their plan, just arrest them and then go from there. Like, we'll let you go if you leave us alone, you know, something like that.
Yeah, just like to scare him off, but not at all.
No, totally.
They like Monroe and Rosalie are. Yell is trying to call in. She's not getting a response. Just.
Okay, I can call her if you want.
Yeah, let's get her on the horn.
Monrosalie
is they're waiting in there, and then the police just descend upon their apartment.
Yeah, that was a while.
Or on their house rather, and arrest Kelly.
Yeah, I didn't see that coming.
I mean, she was like
Yeah, she was wanted for murder there.
And that's the moment where they drop it on Adalind. Like, imagine that's how you find out who murdered your mother.
Yeah.
The police bust in and arrest your friend.
Who just protected you all the way from, the middle of nowhere.
Saved your life and
Yeah.
your baby's, presumably your baby's life. And
Oh, yeah, she killed your mom.
yeah, and then they take her away. And then they bring Adalind in. And that's where this all starts to go nuts, because
She leaves the baby with Renard.
Adalind, she leaves the baby with Renard. And Adalind sits
Yell
down.
is on the line for you.
Yell, are you there?
Hi.
Oh,
Yell.
hey.
So we were just talking about how Adalind is now in the police station, sitting with a not really arrested Kelly Burkhart.
She did have cuffs on.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we know she's not fully under arrest. She's just there. And this is where she says, the quote I was saying before, I want you to understand that sometimes we have to sacrifice what we love the most. And before we jump into like the crazy plan that they had, what did you think of the episode?
I loved this episode. I loved that they spelled out what was happening for us. The car ride with Nick and Kelly while they were on speakerphone with Monrosalie was amazing. They were like, hey, here's what's going on, everybody. You need to know all of this information.
Keep up.
Amazingly awkward.
Yes.
And then, but at this point in the episode where we're talking about when Adalind puts it all together, what's happening, because Kelly's letting her know. And then we see Renard. That was crazy. That blew my mind that he's just like going hand over the baby. I had no idea.
I didn't either.
I had no idea. I mean, she only just got a name.
Yeah.
Which we didn't even talk about yet. Diana. Hexen baby
is gone.
No longer.
It's Diana now.
It's a royal Diana. It's Princess Diana. I mean, I
thought the same thing.
Did anybody else click on that?
Princess Diana.
Do you guys think that Kelly's going to let that name stay?
Diana? Yeah. I can't imagine she would disrespect Adalind's name choice. Such a minor thing.
Do you think she's going to change the name?
Yeah, because Adalind can't ever find her baby. So she's got to change the name.
Not yet. I have a prediction about that, but we'll get to that in a little bit.
Okay.
To that, because I want to talk about just the insanity of what of handing over the baby to Viktor and the level of
the
like
double cross.
Yeah, because Adalind runs out and she knows exactly what they did.
Yeah,
like he's like, to protect you, I have to take away your baby.
Right.
And I thought that for a second, I thought that he was just gonna have handed over the baby. Like love made him blind, and they just did it. And as soon as they get to the airport and the school. Then the SWAT team rushes out of, like, supposedly the resistance.
Oh, hold on. We skipped over the baby in the car with the coffee skull.
Oh, my God. How did I forget the baby?
That was
so creepy. I want to go back to that.
So creepy.
I want to go back to that, and we'll just talk about the baby's powers and all that means. But they steal
go to the airport.
Yeah, they get to the airport, and they, as soon as they're like, we're the resistance, we're taking it, it's like, all right, Monroe.
Yeah, Monroe
Nick.
and his German.
And the fact that only one person.
Clearly Monroe.
Only one person is talking. Because nobody else speaks German.
That was really good. I was like, wait, what's happening? Oh,
again,
it's Monroe.
The perfect comedy relief.
Yeah.
How's my German? I thought it was very good. You don't speak German.
No.
But it was great. And I thought that the episode ended on a fantastic point with Kelly driving the baby away. With like, this is how it has to be.
This is what we said a couple episodes ago, that Kelly should just take the baby and run away.
Did we? See, this is why
we need that prediction.
This is why we need new introduction. Why I made sure that Yale called into this episode, because I'm introducing to the Grimm podcast the Grimm prediction board.
Is there physically a board?
There is physically a whiteboard that is going to get Sharpie on it.
Ooh.
To like this. for folks at home, what we're going to be doing now with the Grimm prediction board is that whenever one of us has a wild, crazy theory, because we have a lot of them on this podcast.
Yeah, we do.
You now have the option of putting it up on the board, and that means you're putting points on the line, and this is going to be recorded, and if it happens or if it doesn't happen, we are going to lose points. The amount, if
no.
Yell's worried. The amount of episodes, so we'll get into more of like how this is all going to work. I'm trying this out. This is a trial run for the rest of this season.
We got to figure out like what you
It'll
win.
be like points, yeah. Whether or not we'll be able to work in the
Or is it
fans.
like-
If you at home want to put something on the prediction board, send us a tweet.
Ooh.
Or comment on iTunes or YouTube.
We're going to have to get a bigger board.
Yeah, well, but so for my first prediction, the first prediction on the Grimm prediction board, I think what's going to happen to the baby and with Kelly Burkert, we already know that it was born about 3 months early. So it was like a 33%, like a third.
Okay.
It's growing at a third.
I think I know where you're going.
Faster the rate.
I
think we're gonna get my prediction. I'm putting this on the board is that within the next season, like next season, it's not gonna happen soon, but next season or so, we're going to catch back up with Kelly and Diana, and that baby is going to be older, like 8 years old. So it's gonna be like a grown. Yeah, it's going to age faster. It's going to be a very, very heavily powered baby because like it keeps playing with the necklace and it's playing with the keys, and Kelly's like, I'm gonna have to teach you not to do that in public.
I'm telling you, I think it's the little girl in Believe. I think this is I think this is a prequel.
NBC's bleeding their different shows together.
Grimm is a prequel to Believe.
So, well, if you guys have anything, let me know. I'm gonna put.
Uh oh, he's writing it on the board.
Zach says
this is happening.
The baby will be old soon.
Old soon. You want to tell Yell about the point system of how many?
Well, if you guess something and it happens 2 episodes later, that's 2 points. If it happens 3 episodes later, 3 points, and so on and so on. If you're wrong, if you get a prediction wrong, you're gonna lose 3 points.
Always.
Always 3 points off for losing.
It takes a lot to build them.
You have to believe.
Oh, wow.
You have to believe in what you're saying to put a prediction up on the board.
Just crazy predictions.
Yeah. And at the end of the season, we'll tally it up and see who wins.
Okay.
All right.
But can we make predictions for next season?
Yes. You can make any prediction you want. You can be as wild and crazy as you believe you can be.
Okay.
Yell. Well, we've still got you on the line.
Yeah.
What do you got for us?
I also think that rapid growth syndrome is going to happen. But I also believe, I think Kelly's going to change the name. I think Diana's not sticking.
Are you?
Is that going on the board?
Putting that on the board?
I'm scared.
Well, there's so much going
on the board.
All right.
Oh, put it on the board.
All right. So you guys, well, Dillon, what else do you get? I mean, while I'm writing this down on the board, what do you think is going to happen, like in Portland now? Now that everybody's out and about with all these theories, like Adalind is back.
Yeah, she's back
full
into
Hex and Beast power mode.
Crazy, angry mom mode now.
She's pissed.
Yeah.
She is pissed off.
I don't think I've seen her be so powerful before.
I mean, it's just from a yell, she breaks the windows of a ton of police cars. Well, because we skipped over it, and it's tied to the baby has superpowers too.
Yeah.
I wonder if her power and the baby's power are linked.
No, I bet they have their own powers. But she might have come back stronger because of that crazy ritual she went through. So maybe she's just like a super hexen beast now. And now she's the bad guy again. And that whole relationship with Renard, I think that's out the window.
That's interesting that she would be the bad guy. I mean, she knows that he did it with the mind to protect her.
Yeah, but she didn't want that. And she's the mom. You know, if someone stole your kid, you'd be pissed.
She's going to go after Viktor with her new badass powers.
She might, but she probably won't be happy with Renard and Nick in the process.
Viktor's back in Europe at this point. I assume he left.
Yeah, but in her mind, he has her baby.
That's true, too. So she might just run off.
unless Renard is going to try to keep her there.
Oof.
I mean, because she spent all of that time trying to just run from the royals. Now maybe she's going to try to get her way into the resistance, try to steal the baby back.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. If she makes her way to the royals again, to Viktor, Victor's just going to go, the resistance stole the baby.
Or maybe she'll be able to just piece that together on her own, and then she starts going after the resistance, which she knows Renard is a part of.
Right. And Nick, well, she knows that Nick's mom helped,
potentially... Will they tell Kelly? Will they tell her that Kelly has the baby?
Oof.
I mean, that's actually that seems like a lot of postulating.
Yeah.
Well, it got Viktor off the trail.
Yeah.
At the very least, because like they said last episode, the Resistance can't be allowed to have this baby. The Royals cannot be allowed to have this baby. This baby just has to grow on its own.
Mm-hmm.
And Kelly now will get to raise a child, presumably through adulthood. Not have to ship him off with her.
You know what's good is the baby likes Kelly, which is nice because she took the locket from her because she liked it, and then the Viktor tried to like look at it and it snapped it shut. I was like, ooh, that's a sassy baby.
But the skull. This, like,
oh yeah, that was
we were
creepy.
talking about that. Like, what is that? The skull is the same thing that we saw on Adalind's baby bump.
Mm-hmm.
While she was like rubbing in, like first it was a spider at one point, and then it was the skull. What do you think it means, other than obviously death?
Yeah.
But, like specifically, what does it have anything to do with the Reapers? I wonder.
Oh God, I forgot about those.
Because
I
I mean,
wonder
they have
if it's going to connect back to the other heartbeat that we still haven't gotten explained. There was a second heartbeat when Adalind was pregnant.
That's true. Then they thought it was twins, but then there wasn't one.
That's weird.
I almost forgot about.
I forgot about that too.
The second heartbeat.
How are they going to explain that? Does the baby have two hearts?
You're welcome.
I don't think we're dealing with a Time Lord baby.
No.
But it raises an interesting point because was there all of the magic that went into making that baby, that went into getting her powers back? First of all, Kelly knows a little bit about that process. Because she mentions it. She's like, she knows that it was very painful.
Yeah.
To get it back,
and someone had to die.
Yes. It's like, who did you kill to get your powers back? What could the baby? What are the limits of their powers now? Like, losing a power and getting it back, I think left them both with something greater than they would have had. It's because it's transference of life. They essentially took the life, if you treat it as called a life force, like a soul, of the people that they killed and used their essence to get her powers back. How powerful does that make the baby?
Yeah. And Adalind. Is she superpowered now?
I think her powers will
are a little
grow.
amped up a little bit.
I mean, right now we have a group of people, like a number of people whose powers are raised beyond their normal level. Nick, his powers are through the roof.
Yeah, he's super grim.
Yeah, he's
zombie.
Grim. Zombie super grim.
Yeah, but I think I've read that they're saying like that is dealt with. Nick is he's just super grim now. Like this, like his PTZD, as they called it. That was the title of the episode. I take no responsibility for that. I can't claim responsibility for that joke. But that left him with a heightened level of grim powers because nobody had experienced that before. It's like now future Grimms will be able to go back to Nick's stories and written down in his book.
Yeah, right.
To which I say, Nick, computerize those books.
Yes, someone.
For the love of God,
put those on a hard drive.
Computerize those books.
He needs to get a laptop in that.
That'll be way more searchable if you're just like, you got to start working on it piece by piece.
Yeah.
And you'll be able to like translate them and be like, oh, this, get a little program going. This mysterious vessel that we've come across is a furry. He types in furry. It has large teeth, and it scalps people's scalps. And it's like, oh, it's this thing. All right, get the scythe out. We're going to go kill it.
Oh, it's a Vilbashir.
Yeah. Bilbashir.
Vilbashir, right? Wasn't that
Yeah.
The scalps people?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But I'm saying for the future, when he encounters ones that he doesn't know about.
Right.
He doesn't have to thumb through books for hours.
Yeah, and get 3 people to help him.
Yeah.
Which book is it in?
But anyway, there's so much going on in this episode. Let's talk. Let's go into official predictions mode. We've been talking about predictions for like 20 minutes, it feels like. But I use the prediction of theremin music as also a note. We're going to talk about what we saw about for next week.
Okay.
So if anybody's sensitive to that, spoilers for next week. Literally, when I saw this promo, I'm going to recreate my reaction. Oh, yes!
He's wailing his arms,
Anyone who's listening to this has no idea, but I'm flailing my arms. I was so excited when they said she's not a Best in the Week, she's a Grimm.
Yes.
Another Grimm. Finally.
I watched it the other night, but I didn't watch the promo for next time. So today, I looked up the promo for next time. I saw the other Grimm. I immediately tweeted you. It was like, it's another Grimm. I was so excited.
Oh, I'm glad I didn't read that tweet at the time because I hadn't watched yet. I saw the words Grimm and Dillon Chance. I was like, oh,
don't look at it.
Because I couldn't watch until today.
Oh, okay.
And I flipped out. I flipped it.
Yeah, that was me watching the promo. It's another Grimm.
I'm so excited, and she says her name is Trouble.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if that's her actual name or.
Yeah, they said, what's your name? She goes, they call me Trouble or something.
It looks like it is her name, and it's spelled Trubel. Her name is Trouble.
What's the name of the episode? I think I read it. It's like something.
It was something about trouble.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So yeah, were you listening to us before?
I couldn't watch live. I was trying to watch us live, but I couldn't.
Oh, we were expecting you to call in with Prince Viktor's full name. So
the one that he gave to Wu. Do you remember that? It was really long.
Yeah, it was long, and he dropped a few parts of it.
Okay. Well, maybe the viewers at home can leave us a comment and give us that name.
I mean, I'm sure we'll be able to look it up as soon as we get
out of here. We'll go look up his name.
But final thoughts, guys, on this episode.
Oh man, that we meant to talk about this last time, but that baby already having the powers and how other Vessin, they don't vogue until they're in puberty, but that baby's already going through crazy stages. I also wanted to make a wild, crazy idea just so you guys can hear it. What would happen if a Vessin and a Grimm had a baby together?
Ooh.
Would that be crazy, like a royal Vessin baby, or what?
It
would be a really self-loathing Vessin Grimm baby. I want to just kill itself.
His full name is Prince Viktor Albert Wilhelm George Beckendorf.
Nice.
Of course.
Dillon, where can the people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Dillon Chance.
And Yell, calling in.
The people can find me on Twitter at Yell Teagle. That's YAELTYGIEL.
And you guys could find me at That Zach Wilson on Twitter and Instagram. And you can also catch me here at AfterBuzz on Archer and Resurrection. Tune in to Archer tomorrow night. We're going to have a special guest call-in, Lucky Yates, also known as Krieger.
Oh!
I'm super pumped. He's
awesome.
going to be phoning in, so tune in for that. I'm Zach Wilson, and thanks for geeking out with us.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.